The coronavirus pandemic has had an immense impact on societies across the world, and transport has most certainly not been spared its effects. Planes, trains and automobiles and all stops in between have felt its bite as demand for travel plummeted and the economic downturn took hold. But in our cities, the places where most of us live and work, changes are already coming thick and fast and could reshape our urban spaces on a permanent basis. In Paris, plans were already in motion to create hundreds of kilometres of new cycle paths so that residents can get around the City of Lights by pedal power rather than using public transport, which is often overcrowded or delayed due to traffic jams. The city's mayor wants to turn Paris into a 15-minute city where all amenities and services are within striking distance. Here in Brussels, on one of the most polluted streets in the city, new cycling infrastructure links the centre of the Belgian capital with the European Quarter, home of the EU institutions, in an effort to cut down pollution and allow people to social distance. The link between air pollution and respiratory diseases is well documented, and as our understanding of Covid-19 increases, it is becoming clear that cleaning up urban airways is going to become an increasingly important stage in managing the virus. City officials here in Brussels have promised kilometres of new cycle paths for that very reason, but they have resisted the urge to throw the baby out with the bathwater, if you will. One of the new bike lanes will link the centre to the main airport. Here is what some of Brussels residents have to say about it.
I cycle pretty much every day, and I've seen over the last few years it's got better and better, but there's big gaps still that need to be filled. The street behind us used to be suicide to cycle down it, and now it's better thanks to what they've put there. But as you can see, it's kind of concrete blocks, and then about 100 yards down there it just leaves you in the middle of the street again.
I have noticed that a lot more people use their bikes to get around. I still don't because I'm still scared, but hopefully with all of the increase in bike traffic, it's going to be easier and safer from now on.
I cycle pretty much every day to get to work, to go through town. And generally speaking, I think it's a good thing that more space is being cleared up for cyclists throughout the city. A lot of these cycling lanes are made in a very temporary fashion, but overall it's probably a good step towards a better cycling city.
But there are challenges, as not every city has the space needed to build cycle paths that are separated from cars, vans and buses. On the street behind me, you can see a classic of the problematic biking genre. Two narrow cycle lanes with no road dividers, running along a one-way street next to parked cars. Just one inattentive driver opening their door without due care could spell disaster. It is not an impossible problem to solve though. The Netherlands, inextricably linked to the bicycle, has admittedly built up its world-leading infrastructure over the course of several decades, but offers plenty of lessons and best practices to all those city planners now mulling how to retool urban spaces. It is ultimately a virtuous circle. A safer, more extensive bike network should mean more drivers leaving their cars at home, which in turn creates more space for cyclists and pedestrians. But the pandemic is not a complete panacea. In Berlin, a court ruled that pop-up cycle paths installed during the lockdown period are not legal, as local authorities did not go through the right channels. There has also been pushback from motorists in cities like Brussels, London and Milan. So the pandemic has clearly provided a huge boost to movements that want to make cities more people-friendly and more sustainable in terms of pollution and human health. It is now up to local authorities and civil society groups to take the opportunity the virus has presented them and run with it. After just a few months, changes are already evident. Here the car was once king of this charming square, but people have now been given agency over it. Although the Belgian weather really lends itself to outside dining, the shift has created a quieter, more peaceful neighbourhood, which many city residents want to see replicated wherever possible.